Like, cooking is a whole arse thing, dude. Lots of people get Uber Eats. I'm gonna be getting an Uber Eat after I've recorded this video, because...
Isn't that supporting capitalism? Come on, Mr. Leftist.
I've got no energy to cook. And bear in mind, Lani, again, as he admits, was the entire trad wife ideal. So she was doing all the reproductive labor, she was going out doing a job, and she was trying to socialize. He complains that all the food in the fridge would go bad, and I'm not being funny, man, but like, Xanderhal, have you never been in control of a fridge in your entire life? It happens all the time, because unfortunately capitalism doesn't allow us a lot of time to actually address things like that. Plus,
there he goes with the capitalism. There he goes. Yeah, no, this guy just uses like a ton of buzzwords and things like that, and like, just listen to why he says capitalism is the reason why people can't make food, apparently.
If you've got ADHD like me, planning and cooking is such a drama. When I'm hearing this, I can't help but go back to this clip that I played you earlier.
And
Absolutely.
going along.
And Lani says,
Go to the bathroom. Why can't you ever throw up in the toilet?
like, this is a thing that happens regularly, and this poor woman has to deal with this literal baby man popping whiteys on stream because he smoked too much weed and he just can't make it to the bathroom. So Xanderhal is then talking about how he blocked off all of his PayPal accounts, all the access he knew that Lani had to his money, and then goes on to show a bunch of Cash App transactions made to her account. But hang on a minute, if he just like on a whim decided to like stop her from getting money, which was her only access to money, by the way, especially considering that he thinks that she was lying about the job that she had. And of course, remember chat, her having access to his money was an agreement that they previously...
By the way, I want to point this out real quick. I think it's funny. He says chat. He's not streaming. You know, when Xanderhal talks to chat, he's actually talking to chat. When Vosh talks to chat, he's actually talking to chat. When Hassan, Destiny, any of these people are talking to chat, they're actually talking to chat. I know that I don't have a chat here. I'm pre-recording this, so like I'm not gonna refer to you guys as chat. I'll refer to you as like, I don't know, viewers or something, but like are just guys more likely than anything else. But I just find that funny is all.
Had in the relationship, whether it was unspoken or not. What did Xanderhal expect Lani to do when he stopped her from having any access to money whatsoever? No, there was no chance for Lani to plead her case. No chance for her to talk it out with him. No, Xanderhal exacted the same state violence that any...
Bro, this is all over him getting upset and making the valid point that she's being wasteful about food. This entire little tirade is all about that.
Sheriff or landlord would do on someone who has not been paying their bills on time. It appears that the same day he did all this and stopped her from having access...
Oh, and the part about... Okay, got it, all right.
Access to money was also the same day that he kicked her out of the apartment. He didn't confront her with the information that he now had, nor did he give her any kind of grace period to find somewhere else to live. He just acted like the most disgusting, entitled, wannabe land baron that you could possibly conceive. Also, this part in the video where he scrolls through the transactions of varying amounts that absolutely can be explained away mostly by the fact that, as he admits earlier in the video, he was the sole breadwinner and gave her free reign of his debit card with this absurd...
By the way, terrible idea. I would not ever recommend giving your partner, friend, someone you live with at all, anybody, free reign of your finances. No, just bad idea.
Music like he's just solved the mystery of the century as well. It's gross. There's no other way to put it. It's sick. He's a sick misogynist that treats women like shit on and offline. Now, I just want to stress that while this is a really difficult part of the video to go through, I did want to add a little bit of comic relief in here for people, because what kind of a content creator would I be without anything like that? So here you go. I didn't hear from him at all except when he would text me to complain about how awful his mum's house is and how she won't let him go anywhere and how he's miserable because she won't get him any vapes or weed cartridges. He would only text her about that shit. He is an actual winner. And to be honest, that is...
Notice how this is entirely cropped out, and clearly there is a lot more to this than what DJ Mule here is actually showing. I cannot recommend enough, if you have not watched this video, hey, this guy's got a green screen like me, watch this video, DJ Mule, an abuser in leftist clothing. It is a great great video. He honestly goes over a lot of similar points to me, but that doesn't mean you can't watch both of our videos, or in my case, my playlist and his video, because we do definitely have moments where we have specific things that we say differently. So, yeah.
Because she won't get him any vapes or weed cartridges. He would only
But he goes over that specifically.
text her about that shit. He is an actual winner. And to be honest, that is on brand, considering a lot of the stuff that we've already gone through. Anyway, let's dive back into this cesspit. When Xan talks about Emily, the friend that...
That's how I feel whenever I go back to covering this video. I'm like, all right, let's dive back into the cesspit. Also, whenever I go on Twitter.
Lani had, who fell out with her and apparently exposed her gambling and meth problem, I'm skeptical at best. This is a man who's shown his ass regarding how he makes things up about women who he doesn't like so often that you'd have to forgive me that I'm doubtful, even in the existence of this person. But let's do a Debate Bro classic.
Oh, wait, what? The existence of what person?
Shown his ass regarding how he makes things up about women problem. I'm skeptical at best. This is a out with her and apparently exposed her gambling and meth problem. I'm skeptical at best. Anyway, let's dive back into this cesspit. When Xan talks about Emily, the friend that Lani had who fell out with her and apparently exposed her gambling and meth problem, I'm skeptical at best. This is a man who's shown his ass regarding how he makes things up about women who he doesn't like so often that you'd have to forgive me that I'm doubtful, even in the existence of this person. But let's do a Debate Bro classic and play devil's advocate. I'm sure all of them are here.
1 hour and 7 minutes.
Into the video. Yep, they're all gonna love this shit. Let's say that this Emily person does exist, and that Xanderhal's right about how Lani stole money off him, and that she's got a gambling problem, and she's addicted to meth. So, you see what these leftists in Xanderhal's community who have, for example,
Okay, first of all, let's address the Emily thing. It is a common thing for people who know somebody else, say they've been wronged by somebody, to reach out to other potential victims that person could have and warn them. I had a situation where when I started dating my my ex-fiance, I had people reach out to me who were friends of mine and friends of hers, at least at one point, where they would reach out to me and they'd be like, hey, like, I hope everything goes well for you, but like this and this happened with my my brother who dated her, or this happened with my friend, all these different things, right? And so I, against my better judgment, I didn't, listen to this stuff. But it is a common thing for people to reach out to other potential victims and say, hey, this person's bad news, might want to watch out. Or, at least in my case, it was more of a giving them the benefit of the doubt kind of thing, and saying, hey, this person has done, I've known this person to behave this way in the past. Maybe you should be on your guard, something like that. All valid.
Did Lani do drug tests, harassed her, accused her of grooming him, even though the power balance is in Xanderhal's favor in every single instance of the relationship, and made her online life a
all right. Oh, God. Let's actually go through this.
Example. So, you see...
Okay. So, she is a pastel leftist. Now, White Nervosa, all I know about White Nervosa is I believe they work with Vosh, and I think they work with Xan, and they did work with Hunter, but I think they had some falling out. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm vaguely familiar with White Nervosa. I think Vosh and Xan have mentioned them before. But anyway, Pastel, that is Lani, has liked tweets suggesting I was being coercive, but has done the drug test offered under the condition the drug test's negative for meth. The only reasonable conclusion is that she would test positive for meth and therefore lied. The lie is a problem. Kat, another reasonable conclusion is that she has COVID and couldn't leave her quarantine, though. I mean, this did all happen in 2020, and yes, COVID is a possible situation. But if you're doing a drug test, it's only going to test for the drugs it's like made to test for. It's not going to. So it's like if you okay, let me put it this way, right? Medical tests that you take, for certain things are only for those certain things. So if you take a COVID test, it's not going to tell you if you have diabetes. It's not going to tell you if you have anything else like that. Similarly, you can't take like an STD test and it's going to tell you, oh yeah, you got a cold. Like, it's not going to, you have a fever, it's not going to tell you that. If you take a pregnancy test, it's not going to tell you, well, hey, you're not pregnant, but we did realize that you're actually smoking weed. No, it doesn't work like that, right? There are very specific type of tests that are set in place for people to take for, to test for certain things. So this notion that like, oh, she had a COVID test and, she COVID and couldn't leave quarantine.
What these
back and
leftists
forth
in Xanderhal's community.
Like. I don't know, man, but I know she's definitely not doing well right now. This probably wasn't her top priority. I just hope both parties involved are okay and Lana gets her possessions and her cat back. It's not Zan's job to jump and go to the extra mile. He's already doing a lot when he's paying with his money to keep her stuff in storage until she gets the keys. By keeping my stuff in storage, you mean haphazardly throwing most of my belongings into trash bags and then sorting them somewhere without telling me and without giving me access. Yeah, no, that's just called stealing at this point. So really at this point, we're just at a he said, she said kind of moment, so there's not really much to say, unfortunately.
Have, for example, demanded Lani do drug tests, harassed her, accused her of grooming him, even though the power...
Alright, I said I'd go through it, though. Whoops.
For example...
I'm not enabling anyone, I just think she deserves to have her belongings. Homeless people are still entitled to the things they own and paid for. She could probably sell some of them to help her with money, too. Sure, yeah, I agree. She didn't have to be homeless. She had a chance to live with White Nervous for free. Why do you continue to ignore she was offered a place to live? When did homeless people get to be picky? Fair. All she had to do was pass a drug test. Look, again, this is just he said, she said at this point, so I don't know. I don't really have much to say on this, actually. Current drama right now, Xanderhal, Punk Duck, exposing their GFs. I don't know who Punk Duck is, but alright. Oh, here. I said I'd...
Demanded Lani do drug tests, harassed her, accused her of grooming him, even though the power balance is in Xanderhal's favor in every single instance of the relationship, and made her online life a living hell after this video's publishing. Don't understand. And again, this is the fault of Xanderhal and other debate nerds, is that punitive justice, especially financial violence, aka making someone homeless, is not justice. You don't just become a cop when someone has issues like that. You know better than any fucking cop in the police forces of America or the justice system. Holy fucking shit, touch grass, the lot of you. I swear to God. Apparently this Emily also accuses Lani.
Do I need to mention the irony of this man telling people to touch grass?
Grass, the lot of you. I swear to God. Apparently this Emily also accuses Lani of getting her ex-boyfriend evicted by not paying the rent on time. This man calls himself a leftist. A leftist. As someone in a tenants union, I cannot stress enough. The only people who evict anybody in this world are either landlords and/or the cops. The idea that this man thinks that it's a tenant's fault when they get evicted fucking boils my blood.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes, it is the tenant's fault in that scenario. Okay. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I moved in with a friend of mine and his mother. She rented the place out to us, and she was gone most of the time. It was cool. Him and I were kind of like bros, you know. And things were really good for, like, half a year, something like that. He got a job and made some friends that were not good people. These were people that were Well, to get to the point of it, they were really kind of turning our house into a trap house. So, because of this situation, I got to a point where I didn't want to live there anymore. So, what I did was behind his back, I went with another of my roommates who was living with us at the time as well, and we got an apartment and we moved out. We just moved out together, and it was good. It was a lot better than the condition we were living in before. I mean, there were health hazards going on because they were dog breeders and stuff, and there were some not, and they didn't take care of the dogs well. There was some not great stuff going on that I'd rather not get into the specifics of. But all in all, it was a bad situation. So I left. I didn't pay rent for a while, honestly, partly because I had lost my job at the time, and I had well, I wasn't under any legal obligation to do so, but I kept saying, and I was legitimately going to pay back the rent once I had a job. But once the house was turned into the way that it was, I saw no reason to pay. And what I did instead, of course, is I just saved up to be able to move into the new apartment, and that's what my other friend, and I did. And it was a rough time, but while we weren't in the situation where, say, because the other thing too is our landlord, the mother of our friend, was getting ready to come back and evict us anyway. We got out like the night of that she was going to raise hell. And in this entire situation, we came to a point where once we left, like I said, we were in a much better situation and everything. And while it would have been true that our friend didn't evict us or anything like that, he pushed us to the point where we would have had to leave. And in the case of what happened to Xanderhal in this situation, while it is true that only the landlord actually evicts a person, the person that you're living with, if they are not paying their half of the rent or anything like that, they don't have any right to stay there either, right? And in Zan's case, and I think DJ Mule actually shows in his video, I'm not entirely sure, but I know Zan does in his video. Recommend watching that too. DJ Mule, or essentially, the way that everything went down specifically was that Lonnie was hiding eviction notices from Zan. He didn't even know that they were going to get evicted. But she was hiding eviction notices, and he realized, hey, if I don't take care of this, if I don't, if I don't take care of this, then we're going to get evicted, and that's going to be on my credit. And the thing about that, for people that don't understand, is once you have an eviction on your record, I know DJ Mule downplayed this a lot earlier, but once you have an eviction on your record, it massively, massively sets you up for failure. I mean, if you have an eviction on your record for not paying rent, what landlord, what apartment complex, what home, what anything is going, house, anyone that rents out, who is going to want to rent out to you? And if you think, oh, you have good credit score and you can buy a house, no. If you have an eviction on your record, if you have what this situation was setting Zan up for, that DJ Mule fails to appreciate in this scenario, is she was setting him up to be homeless. So while he gets mad at her that he essentially made her homeless for a short amount of time, she would have made him homeless indefinitely, or at least where he couldn't have a home on his own. He would have had to live with his parents indefinitely and things like that. But the way that DJ Mule goes about explaining all this is just, I mean, it really is just abuse apology. It's victim blaming. It's disgusting. It really is.